On campus here at the lovely Glencoe Fieldhouse, new head coach Bailey Blanchard. And Bailey, you and I have known each other for many years. We got to meet many years ago, and I was following your dad's and a career at Piedmont and what all he was able to accomplish. During that time, I remember meeting you for the first time. Tara come on, did some work with us. So it's been a long journey to get to where we are. And although this is a weekly coaches show, kind of want to rewind the clock a little bit, Coach, and talk about what led you over into this. You're state champion in football, all-state. Then you go on to West Alabama and you become the second leading receiver in the history of West Alabama. Then you go over into your coaching career. You've since got married. You're now a father. A lot of things has happened within this last decade, Coach, but just take us through all that if you don't mind.
Yeah, it's been a whirlwind the last few years. I was blessed to get to meet you and all the Average Joe's crew, and y'all became family to me, and family to my sister and just my whole family. We appreciate everything that y'all do, and I'm glad that we all met, because it's changed our lives, and football is a big part of both of mine and your life, and we get to share that, and it's been some really cool moments that we've all got to share together. You were there for a lot of the great memories of Dad, and miss him every day, and it's just it's great to get to build that football family, and me and you talk about that all the time. But go back to my roots, and I grew up in Cherokee County. My family was from Cherokee County. Dad coached there. Cody, my cousin, played there. His whole side of the family played there. He was a great football player. My uncle was a great football player. My dad, obviously, too. And then fast forward a little bit. Dad ends up at Piedmont. I end up at Piedmont. I was a manager there. Got to play for Coach Smith, one of the greatest coaches in the state, in my opinion, and ended up going, playing all three sports at Piedmont, and had some success there my senior year in football, and ended up getting some scholarship offers and got to go play at West Alabama, which I'm grateful for. Got to win a state championship with my brothers I grew up with, and then go to West Alabama. Had a great time down there. Had a lot of success with Coach G and staff, and just great people to be around. And you always want to try to see if you can go further and further. And I got to do the things that that I won't regret. I got to do a pro day at UAB, and it's just some really cool opportunities that I wouldn't have got to do if I'd never got that opportunity. And fast forward a little bit further, and my first job out was here at Glencoe. Got to learn under Coach Martin. He's a great coach. Had a lot of success in his career, and then this year I get to take over the reins and be the head coach at Glencoe, and I'm very blessed to be here and got great kids and great community, great faculty.
Coach, it was really interesting when you joined forces here with Coach Martin, because watching some of those wars that he and your dad had from the Ohatchee Piedmont days, and you're talking about a monstrous region. Well, those two, it seemed like every year were tying up for that region championship, and it was back and forth. And to come in from the other side of the fence, so to speak, and see how Coach Martin prepared and things like that. You grew up in it. You were well versed in football. How much different, and what did you learn in a very short period of time under Coach Martin that's helped you to where you are today?
I learned a lot, and I can just go back for a second. When Coach Martin first got to Ohatchee, I was a junior, and they were in our region. So it was pretty cool that I got to play against them and then get to coach with them. And then basically, in my mind, I had coached against them, because watching film with them, I always watched film with Dad when I came home, and we'd try to pick up tendencies and stuff. And there was a lot of great battles between them. The one at the Creek Bank, 35-45, I can remember, Taylor Hayes and them, that group, just a battle. And, they ended up meeting again in the semifinals. And so we got to share a lot of those memories. And he had a lot of good football teams, a lot of good players. And then, now I got to coach with them, so I thought that was cool. I got to play against them senior year, got to watch those battles, and then I got to coach with them. He taught me a lot. Taught me a lot about life. Taught me a lot about disposition, and the stressful times, the good times, and the one thing he really stressed is enjoy the wins. And when you win, enjoy them. because they're hard to come by, and especially in this region. And we talked about that all the time. We talked about when he was at Ohatchee in I think 2016, and that 4 of the teams were in the quarterfinals were from Region 6, and so it's been that way since I was in school, and it's still that way. And it's always a battle. You never know who's going to come out. Last year it was a 5-way tie, so it's definitely a tough region. But I learned a lot from him. I tell people all the time, I learned being a receiver in college and being a skill position. I learned a lot of offensive line position from him, and that helped me a ton. And him and Coach Bishop got to talk a little bit about that. And Coach Bishop played with me at West Alabama, and just really knowledgeable guys, and glad I got to be around Coach.
Now, when you took over here, and we've touched on this before a little bit, till now, what's that experience been like? What have you learned about yourself during that time? Because it's one of those things, it's like a bandit. You're just going to have to rip it off and do it and get over it. What have you learned about yourself from the time you took over till now?
I've learned a lot. I've learned how to balance time. My wife and my little girl, my world, my mama, I always want to take care of her and make sure she's okay. And she's a strong woman, and she's done everything for me to get me to this point. Her and Dad did, and so I want to make sure she's taken care of. And then, I got my sisters to look out for. And so just time management skills has been a big one, and making sure that I, check the boxes and making sure everything's in order. And I tell people all the time, the fun part is out there getting to call the plays, and you don't think about all the other stuff. I mean, there's little things leading up to game day that you don't think about as the average fan. I got a great coaching staff that helps me with all this stuff, and I got a lot of wisdom on the staff. And the biggest thing is just trying to help, divide things up and get it all conquered, and not put too much on yourself or put too much on anybody else, and just work as a team like we've preached to the guys. And so that's the biggest thing. I've learned that this job is a lot of hours, and you got to love it to do it, because high school football, as you know, and now it gets better in other places, but you're not getting paid the $1 million or the $1 million buyouts or anything like that. So you got to love kids, and that's what I do, and that's what I want to help kids.
One thing this place has always had here is really good student athletes, and got good administration here at Glencoe. How much does that help? You don't have to coach the quote-unquote knuckleheads. You got a lot of kids that are willing to work, willing to listen and learn. You also have an administration over there that's going to support you. Talk about that a little bit. Yeah,
it's big time. You got a lot of people up there. Miss Tinker, Mr. Arthur, Mr. Clevenger, Miss Payne over there. They do a great job supporting us. And then Miss Daughtery and Dr. Sims over the elementary school. We try to get involved with them, and they're going to help us do some things to get involved with the elementary school this year. So just appreciative of all of that. And then the biggest thing, like I said, my coaches, the faculty, the janitors, the bus drivers, everybody's just, they want it to be like they know it can be, and the community is rallied around. And I've had, like I said, I got a lot of wisdom around here, and I use those guys like Coach Weems and Coach Chambliss, Coach Talbot. The old heads is not old heads. I'm sorry, I don't want to call them old, but that's been around a long time and have done this, and I go to them for questions, and I'm not afraid to do that. And hey, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? And they're always there. I mean, phone call. They'll come to the field house, anything I need, and they're just amazing people. I got a lot of amazing people around here that are willing to help. A lot of people in the community that you could just call and say, hey, I need your help over here at the field house, and they'd be here right then. So very grateful to be in a community like this.
Now, I know this sounds crazy, but we're coming up on game week. Did you ever think that day was going to arrive? It's kind of like seniors always ask them, did you ever think this day was going to arrive? You're fixing to graduate and leave. Did you ever think, hey, I'm fixing to be a head coach, we're in game week? Just what all could possibly be going on through your head right now?
Oh man, me and Dad used to talk about this a lot, and I always wanted to get to coach with him. And I told people that I get to coach with him. He's in heaven's box.
There you go.
But we talked about this opportunity for a long time. He always thought that I'd get a chance to do this, and it probably happened a little quicker than I thought it was going to. But I'm very grateful, and it's almost like Christmas. Like you're just waiting and waiting and waiting, and then it gets here, and you're like, oh crap, it's here. And we're very excited. The guys, I know they're tired of hitting each other, and like anybody would during fall camp, and so they've been getting after it. They've been pushing through the heat and everything else, and they've done a great job. And I'm just excited for them to get out there and see, how their hard work will pay off for them. And but we got a tough opponent coming in here this week in Southeastern. Coach Bird does a great job with those guys, and so we're going to have to play good and clean and just see if all the hard work pays off.
Let's dive into this team, Coach. I like to break this thing down by units. You're obviously an offensive guy. Your dad was a defensive guy. Coach Martin was he's a back and forth guy, so you've been around both sides of the football. But let's start with the offense. Who are some of the guys that you're really leaning on this year, and some of the guys you want to talk about right now?
Up front, I'm leaning on those senior guys. We had a lot of guys graduate last year on our O-line. Kevin Rodriguez was he was a center last year, and he's the anchor. He's a senior leader. He's our left tackle right now, and he's been nothing but a leader and great kid. Played a lot of football. Grayson Stone is another senior up front. Cade Segrist, he's come out to play football, and glad to have him back out. So those three I'm really looking forward to up front and being senior leaders. They've done a great job. Jalen Hunter's a guy that we think can do some things, different things. He's a really good athlete. Looking forward to seeing what he can do. Bronner McMurray at running back. I think we got a lot of good running backs. Alex Hudson Jr. You got Hayden Watson will step in a role at running back. And then, Jamin Mentz is a backup quarterback, and he's going to get a lot of – Duke can sling it, young kid. Really looking forward to seeing how he grows, and he's going to have to step in there on Friday nights as well. And we got Isaiah Young got at receiver, Bryce Borntrager, two guys that are good playmakers, and then Aiden Johnson, Cooper Gomez, two senior guys that we're looking forward to stepping in some of those receiver roles on offense. So, I think those guys can be big time. You got to stay healthy, and especially in this league. And then on the defensive side, we got a lot of good guys up front. Elijah Young's a guy that he's a good kid, senior, gets after it. Jonah St. John's, another one's played a lot of football so far. He started as a freshman, and just on and on. I could go on the list, but we've had a lot of guys come up from the school that are playing, so I'm looking forward to them as well.
Let's flip this thing over and talk about defense, and that's a staple. That's what keeps you in games, so to speak. So let's talk about that defensive unit. And who are the guys you're expecting to have big years on that side of football?
Yeah, that's I probably already touched on that just a little bit, jumping ahead. But Elijah Young, Jonah St. John, Wayne Nowak's a kid that hasn't played football before, but he looks like he's played a lot of football, and he's had a really good fall camp. Cooper Gomez, Debbie Nowak's son. He's grown up in a coaching family.
I noticed he's mentioned like 315 over the summer.
He is a very strong kid. So he comes in. They compete against him in the weight room. And right now Wayne's up there at the top and got a good squat.
That's good.
All that stuff. So he's really pushing them.
That's good.
Josiah Bethel and Hayden Watson play the outside. Linebacker positions, we got Cooper Gomez and Hayden Hudson on the inside, and then our DBs you got Darrell Hampton, Montrez Hampton, who are brothers, and then Aiden Johnson and Parker Gullidge are holding down the back end of that, and then Jake Chambliss is another corner guy, and then there's some other guys that are going to have to step up and play big roles that are young guys, but I'm very excited about our defensive unit, and Coach Terry is calling our defense this year. Very excited about that. And then Coach Badgett's calling our special teams. So, I always want us to be good on that side of the ball as well.
Yeah, special teams. Let's touch on that a little bit because it's usually the X factor in a lot of football games.
Oh, yeah. And we got two guys coming out to kick for us, soccer kids that we kind of, talked into playing some football. And I think they've really enjoyed it. Owen Beeson and Clint Cochran, and they can kick it pretty good. And so we're excited about having them. And then, I'm a big believer in getting some guys in on special teams and giving your guys a breather, but also you got to have some dudes out there because this can make or break a game. And so we're very excited about that and hoping that we can make some big plays in the return game and pin them deep on kickoff and punt.
No doubt. Coach, between now and Friday when you guys kick this thing off, what do you got to get done as a head coach? I know you're probably second guessing yourself on a whole lot of things.
Oh, yeah.
Some of the things you're like, okay, this I know I have to get done.
Yeah, just making sure everything's ready to go on for the field. That's that's your home now. This is our second home, the field house, the field, and just making sure that everything's working, ready to go on Friday night. Like I said, we got a lot of good people checking the PA system, checking the lights, checking this. And, we'll get out here and paint the field here soon, and making sure the play sheets are going, the headsets are working. We have enough footballs. You got this. You got everybody's jerseys good. There's a lot of stuff that goes into it that people don't think about, and so just checking off that list. And talked to Coach Chambliss the other night, and he said, just stay calm, do what you need to do, and just believe in the process that we kind of set in place.
Last but not least, Coach, final thoughts. Anything you want to touch on before you get this thing started? Because you may have something. It could be anything.
I would just like to say thank you to our community and the people that support us. And
Impact Realty.
Impact Realty that's what I'm about to say. One of the big supporters that sponsor this. They're huge in the community. They've had a few of them that have come out and given us watermelons and drinks over the summer. They're always involved. Mark Cassidy does a phenomenal job. He was here when Coach Osmond was here, and he got those guys got it going. Really, the Booster Club and all that. All those great guys that were a part of that. Alex Hudson, he's our athletic foundation president. Shane Bunt, Cody Rampy, and the list goes on and on. They meet here, every month for these guys, for the kids, for every sport here. And so, can't say enough about them. Just thankful for this community, thankful for all my coaches, thankful for the kids I get to coach, and just thankful for the parents that allow us to coach their kids and coach them up hard and coach them tough, and let them know that we love them, but we're going to coach them tough. And I'm very excited. And thank you to Average Joe's for all that y'all do for sports, all that y'all do for sports. I mean, you give so many people around here just recognition, and very thankful for that, and thankful to be wearing the G.
Hey, man, I appreciate you, Coach, spending time with us, and we're going to be back here, God willing, each and every week, and we're excited to see not only your coaching debut, but just throughout the season, man, what you guys are going to be able to accomplish as a team. And like you said, it's a village helping you, not having to do it by yourself.
No, yeah.
And last but not least, I can't go anywhere, and we hear the guys coming in from the weight room. They're getting ready to about ready to get out of here. If you can get Tara Blanchard's approval, would you feel like you've arrived? Because she is your biggest critic, without question.
Oh, ain't no doubt. So she is definitely my biggest critic. That's what I tell people. I joke when I was in college. There's nothing that a DB could have said to me that my sister hadn't already said. So
Publicly.
And you know that. So she gives me grief. I know she's one of my biggest supporters. Her and my little sister. They support. Meg's a little bit more nice to me. But if I can get approval from Tara, then I know I have arrived at some point, because she is very critical. Now, I will say she's one of those. She's so loyal, and you don't talk about family. And I'll tell you what, if I was going to be in a bar fight, that's who I'd want to bring with me.
Hey, you're taking her with you, but at the same time, she'll fight you in a phone booth. But she'll fight somebody in a heartbeat.
Don't say anything about the family. We might be arguing, but as soon as you say something about one of the family members, she's ready to go. And I love that. And family's all that you really got in this life, and
that's right.
That's what this group right here is, my family. Extended family, and so I love them, love y'all, and appreciate what you do.
Appreciate all you do, brother. Thank you so much, and good luck not only coming up this week, but the rest of the season, brother.
Thank you.